Good morning. Welcome to Grandma's Table. I don't have any coffee right now because I'm going to wait until I get to our church's brunch, but I'm peeling apples for apple crisp dessert later on because it's Easter Sunday and so our family's getting together. It's not just a family day though. It's called Resurrection Sunday in the church calendar, and it's because this is the day we celebrate the fact that the women ran the original Spice Girls. They collected spices and they were going to um, spice Jesus' body, but they had to wait until after Sabbath. And so they gathered all these things together because I don't know if you know, but dead people stink. And so um, they were going to spice the body and just keep it um, nice. And it's how they honored people who had passed. And they loved Jesus. They had a plan. They were there at the cross, and they were there in the garden tomb, the tomb garden, where he was buried. And these women got there in sorrow, and they left in joy, in wonder, in probably some confusion. I mean, the angels came and told them, "Yo, why are you looking for a dead guy, an alive guy at a cemetery? Because he's not dead; he's risen." And they're like, "What? We were there. We saw it happen. We were there." And so a couple of the other ladies ran ahead to tell the disciples and whatever, and Mary stayed behind. And I love this part. Um, she thinks he's the gardener because, my goodness, she's crying and she can't see through her tears. Sorry for shaking the camera. She can't see through her tears. And she's like, "Guy, if you took him, just tell me and we will go and find a different place if you don't want him here." Right? And he said her name. He said, "Mary." And in that moment, when Jesus spoke her name, the heart in her leapt with joy because she knew this was her Jesus. This was her rabbi. And she was so thankful. And how did he know? Because he called to her. He used her name. She couldn't touch him. She couldn't give him a hug because he hadn't yet gone to see the Father. Um, your theological take on all this doesn't matter at this point for me. Um, my focus is on the name. This year I've had quite, well, in the past, not calendar year, but in the past year, I've had quite the wrestle, I guess, with God and with what is my name? Who am I? Because this was the year I was going to change my name to my new married name because somebody turned 18 and I had legal documents that were rounding the bend for expiry. And so this was the year that we had discussed I would actually legally change my name because for some reason that was important to him. And then he took off. And I'm like, oh, in my head, I had a name picked out. And then I was like, well, do I go back to my maiden name? Because I'm not her anymore. Do I just stay with the same name as my kids? What do I do? And I was a little lost for a while as far as what do I do? And I ended up making a choice, whatever, but I sat and I wrote a poem and it was about who am I? I don't know anymore who I am. And in this poem, God talked to me and he says, "You're mine. You're mine." And that was all I needed. The name on the paper didn't matter. When Jesus spoke and he used my personal name, my spiritual name, if you will, it was like everything calmed down. Everything calmed down and I was safe. And in that moment, Mary had just figured out that something weird has happened and this story was not finished. It had just begun. And Jesus made her feel safe. There was going to be a lot of stuff that happened. There was going to be a lot of unsafe things, because Christians were about to go through the most horribly oppressed time of their existence. And unfortunately, many of them turned around and started to oppress others because they didn't learn from what their predecessors went through. But Mary was safe in that moment because the risen Lord had called her name. You're safe. Today he's calling your name. Today he's trying to meet you where you're at, whether it's at grandma's table or whether it's somewhere else. He's calling your name. Are you going to answer? That's the question. He wants to reach into your life and say, you are mine. It's going to be okay because I'm here. I'm going to leave you with that as I finish up my dessert. But he's calling to you. Are we willing to humble ourselves and listen, and humble ourselves and answer? Much love to you. Know that I love you. Keep your feet on the ground and your head in the clouds. Happy Resurrection Sunday.